Hello, Edwin here, and welcome to VGM Podcast Episode 3. Today, we're going to be talking about the video game music found in Unravel. Got my friend Yarny here. He's going to help me out today talking about the music in Unravel. He's a little shy, a little quiet here. Doesn't want to speak, but that's okay. He doesn't need to use words to express himself. So, we're going to just hang out here a little bit. And yeah, a little history with me and Unravel. I've known about Unravel kind of since the early days before the game actually came out. My sister did some streams for it, Game Onesis here on YouTube, and Janet Garcia Games, I believe, on Facebook. So yeah, so I saw her doing some early streams of it, saw it when it was presented in E3 as part of an EA original, and yeah, it was a really interesting looking game. And then I saw her play a lot of it, and I dabbled in it a little as well. I really got into Unravel when Unravel 2 came out. I played that because it was co-op with my sister when it was launched, and then continued to play that, finish that game, and then decided for the VGM podcast to go back to Unravel 1, play more of it, listen to the music more. I really loved the soundtrack for Unravel 2, and I heard enough of Unravel 1 to know that I was probably going to enjoy that as well, and I did, and I have. So I want to share my thoughts on it now. For those of you who haven't played Unravel at all, and for those of you who have, you're probably all in already on this podcast because you know the music is amazing. So a little bit about the composer. They are Swedish. Their name is Frida Johansson. There's also Henrik Oja. They worked on the music for Unravel 1. And we're going to just jump right in already and get into the first one. For those of you who maybe are new to the podcast, I only highlight about 2, 3, a handful of the tracks. We go through them, I listen to them a little bit, and you can hear my initial reactions to it. Well, not initial reactions, but my reactions to it now that I've had time to listen to it, and I'm just reacting on the fly to these pieces right now, but I've heard them before in the game, and just listening to it, studying up on it, and then I don't have anything written down, so I just kind of re-listen to it and kind of share my thoughts again on it. We're going to start with one of the early tracks. We're going to start with First Steps. So it's got a really powerful introduction here, so I'm just going to let it play from the beginning, and we'll listen to about, I don't know, a minute or so, and then I'll give you some thoughts on it. Okay, so I'll pause it right there. We're kind of getting into the deep melody there right when I paused it. So maybe I either should have let it go a little more or just dropped it there. But yeah, I think it's a really nice, calming introduction. I like the first instrumental track too, called Longing. It kind of has that chord progression you hear in the beginning of First Steps, elongated for about a minute plus. So I really like that part of that aspect of it. So if you like the hearing of First Steps, start with Longing and then go from there. And I believe the soundtrack starts that way with Longing and then First Steps, so they connect really nicely. But yeah, it sounds really good. It's a nice beginning to I think the soundtrack record and the game itself, because it just kind of starts very calming, starts with that opening chord progression, and slowly all the instruments kind of come in, and slowly the harmony builds and the melody kicks in. Like I said, around that minute 45 or so, and then we actually start getting the melodic development happening. It feels very kind of serene to me in a way. It's a very atmospheric game for those of you who have never played Unravel. You're just this little yarny fellow here, traveling through the world, figuring out a way just to eventually make it to the end of the level, working with your environment, working with nature. You know, you move us, you pull on a bucket, and you climb up a string, and you walk over a tree branch. So think about those feelings and emotions when you hear it attached to the music. You want it to kind of be open and almost like invisible, but also when you're listening, you hear that there's value there. It's not just, you know, elevator music, if you will. So I think this introduction kind of does a good job just setting the scene. This is the vibe you're going to get from this this soundtrack, from this game's experience. And it's really important in a game like this where there's, I believe, no text or minimal text at best. And it's all images, and the main character doesn't speak at all. So all emotion's going to come from the soundtrack and the sound design. That's it. There's nothing else that's going to captivate or attract the person's attention. So it really is the music really has to pull its weight. If it doesn't connect with the audience, the game kind of becomes like you know, because it's you're just doing platforming and a few puzzles, and you're listening to the music, and the scenery and the music really need to be in harmony without there being a lot of text and any voice acting whatsoever. So it becomes so vital. So yeah, I really like First Steps. It's just a nice calming introduction, and that's why I chose it to be the first thing we listen to, just to kind of set the mood. That's the kind of music you're getting from Unravel. And let's go right into I think to me one of the more underrated tracks, which is Morning Frost. So I'll let it play. I think I'm gonna just start from the beginning. And then we'll just go from there. So let's check it out. Here we go. I'll stop it there. I mean, wow, right? Like, wasn't that amazing? I love the beginning. I believe it was pizzicato as a technique there, just plucking the strings and creating that bounciness, pizzicato, kind of like it's definitely not a legato area, except when that other melody comes in with it. So you're getting a nice contrast of the bounciness of some of the notes and then the melodic movement that's smooth. So it's kind of nice to get both dynamics and both techniques in there. So that's what I really like about Morning Frost. Also, the melody is just, you saw me bob my head to it. It's really good. It sounds wonderful. Morning Frost, like you get that feeling that those words mean something to different people. And I think the music reflects that really well. I think the other thing is that's why I let it play a little longer. When the drums come in, it really just establishes, like, here we go, boom, boom, like really nice, really powerful. The song doesn't have as much bass in it and low frequencies. There's a lot of high strings, a lot of light sounds, and then when that drum comes in, it's just like a contrast, like boom, here we go. Here's the beat. Here's the tempo. In case you weren't paying attention, in case you didn't know how we were leading you, I'm kind of taking charge here. The drum was kind of establishing that, and I really love that on this song, and it continues on. And what I really love is how the layers slowly build. We start off with a very simple melody, and it's getting more and more enhanced, and more the arrangement becomes more and more complex as the drums come in. As you listen to the rest of the song, you'll hear more of that. It just keeps developing on itself and building and building, and I really think that's what makes Morning Frost powerful. So yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and listen to the final piece I want to take a look at here, and it is Red Thread. And I won't go into why I picked this one right now, but I'm gonna play it first, and then we can talk about why I picked it and why I think it's one of the standout tracks in Unravel. We'll pause it right there. Unfortunately, I thought the voice part came in a little earlier, but later on, some voices come in, and I think it's the only time we hear the human voice in the entire soundtrack, and it gets really powerful. It slowly builds. Definitely a slow build, almost a 5-minute song. But yeah, I really love the melody. I love how it slowly builds. I love when the vocals come in. It really feels powerful, like this grandiose moment of accomplishment and wonder and joy, and that to me is a special part. So yeah, definitely that's one of the reasons why I love Red Thread so much. It's one of my favorite tracks in the entire soundtrack, and even in the game experience, it's really good. So I really enjoyed Unravel. I think it's an underrated game. Same with the soundtrack. It's underrated and needs more attention to it. And Unravel 2 is more of the same. I really loved Unravel 2. It did, in my opinion, even improved a bit on this base game. I still think, especially if you're playing alone, Unravel 1's the way to go. So start with Unravel 1, and the co-op features in Unravel 2 are really awesome. So for that reason, I love co-op gaming. So Unravel 2, to me, improved a few things, and then also with the co-oping, made it even funner experience for me. But definitely I can recommend, especially as a single player experience, jump on Unravel 1, and then from there you can go ahead and jump into Unravel 2. They're both great experiences. I really hope they make an Unravel 3. I'm not sure what they'll do next, because they already did the single player and the co-op. But I would love to see them do more. Because it did such a great job with the game initially that I know game development. I know enough to know that it's a long road. So hopefully we see that some point down the road, or even just a new experience would be great as well. But yeah, definitely Unravel's a game you should check out. Check out the soundtrack. It's amazing. There's more great music there. I just wanted to highlight a few of them, and play the game, support the game and the music, and if you ever have a chance to see Frida Johansson or Henry Goja, let them know they did a great job, because they really created a phenomenal score here, and I really enjoyed it. It fits with the scenery so well, and the concept and mood of Unravel, and it was so important for the music, especially in this game, to do that, because like I said, there's no audio. I don't think there's any text, so it's really just the emotion and the feelings you're going to get are going to come from the scenery and playing the game and hearing the music with the game, and how that makes you feel while you're traveling through the world and trying to figure it all out. So it was very important, and they did a bang-up job. I really appreciate the music they made, and I'm looking forward to whatever is next in their careers, and really awesome on EA supporting an EA original. I know they get a lot of backlash on everything, and some of it is earned, some of it isn't earned, but they're still one of the biggest game publishers out there, and it was really great to see them help this game see the light of day with Unravel and Unravel 2, and they made a great piece of art. So on that note, this is the end of VGM Podcast Episode 3 on Unravel. Yarny is going to wave bye to you guys, and I'll see you for Episode 4 next month. Alright, that's it.